Hello, feisty kittens. It is I, Nefarious, of Nefarious Stitchez, School of Mischief and Mayhem. Today I'm here to talk to you about K&A Custom Fabrics Advent Calendar Cut and Sew, designed by Choly So Desune, the Bat Plush. Isn't it cute? This little cutie is super fun, super fast, and super soft. Made using K&A's wonderfully soft minky, but the directions are very clear. He is a free pattern. You just go to So Desune or you go to cholynight.com. Highly recommend, especially if you're going to do the top stitching on the wings, which I did do. I don't follow the pattern per se when it comes to that part, but the rest of it, I follow the pattern to the T. So make sure you get your copy and follow along with me.
So as you can see, we have this adorable cut and sew that was provided. It comes in this plastic bag in your Advent kit. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into this. So these are the tools that we're going to need. We need our clips or pens. I kind of go back and forth in this. So I prefer sewing pens. Sewing clips, some people might prefer pens. It's entirely up to you how you want to go about this. I'm going to use pens. Highly recommend using a lighter. This is made with minky, so you want to gently singe the tips. And scissors are going to be needed. Some people might recommend using a rotary cutter. I'm going to use scissors. Obviously, we're going to need some needle and thread for finishing this up. And we're going to need our pencil just in case you want to follow along for the top stitching on the wings. And obviously we need our cut and sew. We will also need some polyfill because this is a stuffy. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out. You do want to make sure that you cut your darts out. There is a little bitty one, and you will see on this pattern there are some colored spots. These are very important. If you notice on the pattern, if you've read it or you printed it out, these are going to be important when we put this thing together. So I'm going to get my scissors. Like I said, you could use the rotary cutter. I'm not going to use the rotary cutter. I'm only going to use the scissors because this is minky and it will get fuzzy. So I'm going to cut this out. All right, I've got my pieces cut out. I've got my two head pieces. I've got my two left, my two right. I've got my two left wings, my two right wings. Those are good. And my two little body pieces. Aren't those adorable? I can't get over how cute this is. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to get this going here. So I'm going to get my head pieces together. I'm just going to fold this over, lining up my darts. As you can see here, get that back ped here. I want to make sure I've got my front and my back. Line these up nicely because what's going to happen is we're going to sew these darts, but they're not going to be sewn sharply. We're going to sew these softly, kind of like a gentle curve versus a sharp dart because we don't want it to be a horn. We want it to be round, nice and round because when we flip these out. If we sew these sharp, they're going to form a horn. So if we sew this with a curve, it's going to help them lay flatter. Then we're going to get the ears ready where we put the right sides together, just lining up all the edges. And this allows us to be able just to sew this really quickly. I'm just going to put clips together, use the clips. I'm going to do this for both the left ear and the right ear. Again, that's right sides together so that the wrong sides are facing upwards. So you're going to do this for the ears and we're going to do it for the wings. So also we're going to get the wings over here. Again, right sides together, wrong sides up. And we're going to be able to just pin this and take it straight to the machine. When we're sewing this, everything is at a quarter inch stitch. I will be able to speak, I promise. And we just sew the ears and the wings at a 1/4 inch stitch. So as I'm doing here, my stitch length is about 2.5 millimeters, and I'm just literally taking my time, making sure I go into those points, and I'm just going to sew this at a 1/4 inch. We'll continue doing the same thing for the ears. So So to prepare to flip the swing, we need to snip the tips, getting as close to the thread without cutting the thread. So we're just going to give this a little snip. And then in those curves, I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to snip to kind of release some of the tension so that this wing will lay nice and flat. I'm going to do it around all the curves, including right there on top. Now there's also another way to do this, which I'm using snips on this wing, but there's also my pinkering shears. You can use pinkering shears. I'm going to use this on the other wing just so you can see there's really not going to be much difference in how the wings lay. But just so you know, you can use snips or you could use pinkering shears. I just have them because I also make clothes. But get this wing all set up here. Once we have the snips done, it's time to flip it out. And this is really easy. Just flip it out. I'm going to use a push tool or a chopstick. This came from Mormino, and it's going to help me get these points out really nice. I'm going to use it on the tip and the other points here that kind of matches up with the little bone wings here. Or yeah, wing bones, bone wings. And there we go. We have that piece. Now this is where I'm going to work on those curves for the darts. So remember, we are not going to sew here. We want to make sure that we're just sewing the darts. And it's going to be a nice, gentle curve. And the idea here is that it lays nice and flat like this one. I went ahead and just sewed this so I could show you. We don't want a point. We don't want a horn. We just want this to lay nice and flat like a circle so that it looks cute. Look at that. Look how cute that is. See how round that is? Super cute. For the ears, I went ahead and I did a pinkering ear and a snipped ear just so you could see how they lay out. As you can see, as I flip this, this looks really nice. I'm going to use my poker tool here to help me make sure I get it to lay nice and flat. Here we go. Place my scissors here so we can remember that was my snipped ear. And now we can flip the pinkered ear. All right, got that looking nice. There we go. Yep, all nice and flat. Yeah, they look exactly the same. So either way you want to go, you can snip, you can pinker. It's going to be just fine. They work both ways. It looks great both ways. So either or is going to be just fine for however you want to do it. But our next step is when you cut this out, there are tiny little purple dots here on the base and at the very tip. That indicates where you need to fold this ear. The white is the inside, so you're going to fold that, and that's going to indicate where you need to. So we're going to fold it right here. There we go. And when we fold this, isn't that cute? This is so cute. We are just going to clip this, but I'm going to sew the base where that is clipped. Do it this ear, same thing. Now, if you're having trouble seeing the purple mark, which is completely plausible, the pattern has this marked out for you, so you can totally use the pattern here if you need to. So I'm going to sew these both ears. And here we go. We've got these basted pretty much. I just love how these look. Oh, they're so cute and fluffy. So cute and fluffy. Okay, now we're going to move on. Now, I mentioned earlier on this pattern there are some marks. There's one on this side. and there's one on the other side. And we are going to line our ears up to this. Now you're going to want your ears to face, right sides together. And we're going to line these up with those marks. Now I'm going to pin this to the face here with both the ears. Both the ears are going to do the exact same thing. Line it up with that colored piece. This is fantastic. I'm so excited that they did this. It makes this 1,000 times easier and so fast. But if you're struggling, again, it is marked out on the pattern. And now I'm going to take the back part, and the neck part is colored too. So I'm going to put a pin here so I can see it. Another one over here. And I'm going to put the back, and I'm going to line up the seam with the dart to the dart in the front, and I'm just going to go around, and I'm going to pin this all the way around except for the opening at the neck, because that's where we're going to turn this out when we sew it together. Again, my stitch length is about 2.5 millimeters, and we are doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now when we get to where the ears are, it may be a wee bit chunky, so just take your time, go nice and slow. I promise when you take your time, this is going to come out so cute. As you can see, I had a little too much on the ear out there, but that's okay because it's still going to come out really cute. I'm just taking my time, just going around the ear, pulling my pins off one at a time, trying not to be in a hurry so we can just make sure this comes out super cute. Alright, once we get this done, I'm going to cut the strings off, get that all cleaned up, and then it's going to be time to flip this and poke everything out and get the ears all lined up. And there is our face. Isn't it cute? I just love it. So here I have the pattern. This is the wing I was talking about. I went ahead and I printed it, and it shows you where you can top stitch for the wing. And I'm showing you here where you cut it out. I'm not going to follow this because I want to follow the bone structure, but if you wanted to, it's very close. Just follow what the pattern says if you want to follow it, but I'm not going to because it's very, very similar, but I like the bones myself. It's very cute. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go around the bones, and then I'm going to follow the wing tips here. Whereas the pattern is just a little bit different. It's having you make the more of an umbrella shape. I'm not going to do that, but you are more than welcome to do it. So just make sure if you want to do that, you print the pattern out so you can have that handy. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to top stitch. When I top stitch, I like to set my thread at about 3.4. Some people like it longer, some like it shorter. I like mine about 3.4. It's where my machine seems to be the happiest. And here you can see I'm just going to follow the bone tips because I think that's just going to be really cute, and trim off the strings as I go so I don't have to fight it. And I'm just going to follow the little fingers. This is going to be so cute when it's done. This is going to be so cute. So I've got the strings trimmed, I've got this all top stitched, and it is ready to go. And I really like that I did that. I followed the bone tips. It looks really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this to the body. Again, you can see the colored spot on the body to match where the wing needs to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one pinned so it's out of my way. And I'm going to go ahead and top stitch the second wing. All right, both wings are top stitched. Both wings are attached. Now, the pattern doesn't say you need to do this, but I'm going to, just because I don't like things shifting when I sew. I'm going to go ahead and base the wings on. But I'm going to put these in like a safe position so they don't move on me. I don't know, I'm going to call this like bat fetal position, so they're out of my way when I sew. So I'm just going to base these on just so they don't move. I'm going to keep my thread at 3.4 from the top stitch. Just like I said, I don't want them to move. But guys, at this point, we are probably 60-70% done with this pattern. So after I get done, I'm going to line up the other body piece. I'm going to use both pins and my sewing clips just to keep it in place. That's just what I feel is going to be the best way. Again, 2.5mm thread stitch, 1/4 inch seam allowance. I will take this slow because I don't want to sew the wing tips or any other part of the wing to the body. So I'm taking it nice and slow, going around the curves, especially around those little feetsies. I want to make sure they come out right. So I take my time, just going around just like you would if you're making a bag or making a garment. Just as you can see, I'm lifting up my foot as I turn, just making sure that I go nice and slow so it comes out the way it's supposed to. All right, once we get this done, you want to snip or pinker, whichever, in this, especially in these areas between the legs, so it comes out nice and crisp. And then we're going to flip this body out. And look, our wings are attached. We're going to pop our little leggies out. Look how cute those little leggy weggies. Oh, this is so cute. Oh. And there's our bat. We just need the stuff. All right, so here's our polyfill. I got a decent amount here. I grabbed some scraps. Trust me, don't throw your scraps away yet. This is going to make your life a little bit easier, especially if you and polyfill have a sour relationship like I do with polyfill. So I went ahead and grabbed my pokey tool. I don't know if I need it. I'm going to try to use it. And we're just going to, oh, there's a string. I'm going to cut that off. All right, so we're going to start stuffing our baby here. All right, so let's see. I'm going to do this in little bits. I think I'm going to stuff the legs first. And I think this might be where I use my pokey stick. Yeah, I think this might be all right. Let's see if my pokey stick works here. And I think we'll try again. Okay, so I'm not happy with how the pokey stick is doing. I'm just going to use my fingers, and I'm just going to push this polyfill down into the little legs. They're going to be little chubby legs. Look at that, little chubby legs. All right, let's get some more polyfill going here. Shove this in here. I think I'm going to try to make him nice and huggable, like our favorite place where we can go build some bears. I'm going to shove this as good as I can in there and get him Nice and full and fluffy. Don't forget fluffy! All right, we're getting to the point where we're pretty full, so I'm going to use a decent scrap here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to push this polyfill down so it doesn't get in the way of my stitches on my sewing machine, and it'll make it easier to line things up. So push this in, and as you can see, it's getting, well, maybe, possibly. Here we go. Aha! Maybe. One more try. Aha. So it's got all the polyfill out of the way, and I'm going to clip this up. So this is exactly what you want it to look like. We are going to sew the neck closed like this to the head. So you're going to line it up to the head. So there's those blue marks that we saw on the head when we started putting the head together. That's exactly where we are going to sew it, and we're only going to sew it to one side. So I am going to line this little body up to one side here and stitch this together. All right, as you can see, I've got this lined up. I've still got this nice big hole here. Got my machine set to 2.5 millimeters, and I am going to stitch this 1/4 inch, the body to the head. And there we go. We are almost there. Now to stuff our head. So exciting. Here we go. More polyfill. Let's get it going. I'm just going to start shoving it all in there, guys. Oh, gotta get some more. Hold on. And I'm just going to go. We're just going to go and just shove as much polyfill as I can in there because I want his little head to be nice and round and full. All right, doing a check. I think I need just a little bit more polyfill. A little bit more. I'm going to use some of my scraps to kind of stiffen him up. There we go. Looking good. Oh, he is so cute. I cannot get over this. All right, so we've got him together here. Now I'm going to fold this down, get a nice, and now I'm going to do a ladder stitch to attach the neck to the body. I've got my needle and my black thread, and I am just going to ladder stitch him to his body. And that should bring us to the conclusion here and get him going. As I was making this tutorial, it kind of dawned on me that some people may not know what a ladder stitch is. So ideally what you want to do is you take your needle in between the folds up through the top and down to the bottom about a 1/4 stitch a little bit off center from the other one straight down and pull it through. And then you're going to take it back through the top a little 1/4 inch of a way, back through the top, straight up, and then repeat. 1/4 inch off to the side bottom, pull it down, pull it through, and you continue doing this, and you'll get enough stitches that it'll actually start to look like a ladder as you go back and forth here. And trying to go nice and slow so everybody can see what I'm doing. And obviously pink thread and green do not go together, but I wanted you guys to see the ladder effect that's going on here as you go back and forth putting these two together. And then once you get to the point, you are able just to pull the thread, and when you do it, if you've got matching thread, that it practically disappears, which is what I did here on the back of the bat. So now I'm just going to clean them up, get them all pristine. The ladder stitch is done, top stitch is done. He's nice and fluffy. Make him ready for his showtime appearance. Oh, look at this. And gotta brush him. You know, we gotta make our babies look pretty. And here we go, everybody. Here is our So Desune Cut and Sew Bat Plushie by K&A Custom Fabrics. It's been fun, guys.
Hey everybody, I hope you've enjoyed making the Choly Night stuffed bat plush that's in the K&A Advent Calendar with me today. It's super cute and it has been a pleasure to sew it. It is really fun and my kids are trying to steal it. I gotta hide it. It's mine. I'm not giving it away. So I hope you guys liked my video. You want to stick around for some more Nefarious mayhem, just subscribe because there will be more videos coming along. And for now, we'll see you around.